Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Duke University Student Chat. Today we'll be talking about athletics clubs and different organizations that are available to students on campus. We have 4 students here, and we're going to go through and introduce ourselves and let you know kind of what we do. And we will be happy to field any questions that you have, so please type away and give us some good questions. So I'm going to go ahead and start. My name is Cameron Kim. I am a junior from the Tampa Bay, Florida area. I'm a double major in biomedical engineering and mathematics, and I've also earned the certificate in genome science and policy. Things that I do on campus, in terms of my athletic ability, I am the current vice president and coach of the Duke University Quidditch team, and I am repping my Quidditch shirt for the day. I love showing that off. So that's one of my favorite activities that I do here on campus. I'm also involved with the Duke University Culinary Society. I was the treasurer last year. Also, let's see, what else do I do? I'm also involved with the Duke Genome Research and Education Society, which is sort of sponsored by the Institute for Genome Science and Policy here at Duke. A little windy here, sorry. And I'm also involved with the First Year Advisory Counselor Board Program. So you might have heard about the FACT program before. I sit on the executive board along with Mansoor and Nikki here as well. And I think that's a very brief run through of the different things that I do on campus. And hopefully I speak to some of your interest. I just kind of give you an idea. Not all of us, unfortunately, do everything on campus. So we can try to answer some specific questions about different clubs and organizations. However, we won't always be able to do that. We'll try and direct you to the right resources. But feel free to ask whatever it is you can. So now I'll have Clive introduce himself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Clive Madana. I'm from Zimbabwe. I'm a freshman. Things I do on campus. I'm still trying to figure out a lot, like what to do since I'm a freshman. But I'm involved with the club basketball, intramural sports, softball. What else do I do? Engineering, whatever. National Association of Black Engineers. Okay, that's pretty much it. So some of the stuff I do is irrelevant to this conversation, so I would just talk about the athletics part. So.
And Clive, where are you actually at right now?
Oh, okay. Right now I'm in Brody. As you can see from the background, people working out. And, okay, I kind of feel like working out too, but no.
In a little bit. Awesome. Thank you. All right, so Mansoor, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi guys, my name is Mansoor Safi. I am a sophomore from the suburbs of Chicago. I am a bio major who has a strong interest in healthcare policy as well as obesity. If you hear some background noise where I am right now, I am in the Duke Athletics Hall of Fame. So this place is open to the public and they do tours all the time. We have plenty of people just visiting and going through. There's a lot of cool different memorabilia and whatnot here. On campus, as Cameron mentioned, I am part of the First Year Advisory Counselor Board. We all work on it together, myself, Cameron, and Nikki. And in case you haven't heard of the FACT program, we are here to serve as mentors and be like points of contact to help first years transition into Duke. So you will definitely be familiar with us upon move-in day. I'm also involved in a self-living group here called Ubuntu. And I am the Duke men's tennis manager, rocking the shirt right now. And what else? I'm also serving on the university scheduling committee, and I've also served on House Council, which is a first-year opportunity that I think all of you guys should look at in case you have the opportunity to do so. And yeah, I think more things will come up as we go through the conversation.
Awesome. Nikki, on to you.
Hi. Hi, I'm Nikki. I'm a junior, and I'm from Northern Virginia. I'm a public policy major with a minor in Spanish and a certificate in markets and management studies. On campus, I am involved with the FACT program, as Cameron and Mansoor said, and I also am involved with the Duke University Union, which is our largest programming body on campus, and so that's really, really cool. I also work on the career advising team. So we're like student liaisons with the Career Center. I'm also involved with the Black Student Alliance on campus. And that's the main things I do on campus.
Great, thank you. So now that you've had a little bit of introduction to ourselves, again, please feel free to give any questions that you can. But what I'm gonna kind of ask everybody first, just kind of sort of talk about some of their favorite experiences. Like, what is one of your favorite activities or organizations that you're involved with? How did you get involved with it, and what do you enjoy the most of it? So I guess we'll start with Clive.
Yeah, okay, like my favorite part of whatever the favorite activity I do, it's not really like a club, but I block with the admissions office. So like I think that's my favorite part because like I just get to talk about myself and my Duke experience. Like it's kind of cool just to like as an international student who just came to the US or being given the opportunity to write on such a platform like being on the Duke website, like that just that kind of social presence. Like, yeah, so far that's my favorite part. Of course, like I also enjoy like right now I'm a practice player for the women's basketball team. So every time I go there, like it's very cool to be involved with like a high level varsity basketball team like that. And yeah, I get to learn a lot from them. Having experience like from a high level coach like Coach P. That's pretty much it now.
Sorry, muted myself there, make sure no one could hear me. Awesome. Mansoor.
Well, I guess I kind of already alluded to what my favorite activity on campus has been thus far, but I'd say that working for the Duke men's tennis team has just been a blast. I am super passionate about tennis. I love it. It's my favorite sport. It's something that I really can't go without. And I went to a tennis match, and I realized how amazing the players were, and I knew I wanted to match them. I knew I wanted to work closely with them. So I literally just sent an email to the coach. I said, hey, do you need a manager? I am available. I am happy to do whatever you need me to do. I can string rackets, I can pick up balls, I can do whatever's necessary. And within, I think, a day, he just emailed me back, said, yes, we would love to have you on board. Why don't you come meet me in my office on Friday, and let's go through some things, and yes, we'd love to have you. So I had the opportunity to meet with the coach, and we just hashed out some plans for the fall. This was last spring. And they said, we'll get you some Duke tennis gear, we'll get you access to the building, we'll have you come into our matches and doing some film for us and whatnot, being kind of our point person on campus. And it's been just a blast for me. It's a great way for me to stay involved with the sport. I love playing it, but I wasn't sure I wanted to be committed to like a club team. So I had the opportunity to still watch all the matches. I get to play as much as I want with my own friends on my free time, so it doesn't take up my time otherwise. And it's something I would do anyways. I get to get film from the matches and analyze them for the coach, and then I also get access to the indoor courts. So it's pretty much everything I could have asked for and more. And when I go to the matches, there's no stress. I just go over there, hang out with some of the players, and watch the match.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. Nikki, and then we have a question. So after Nikki, I'll go ahead and we'll go through the questions.
So I already kind of alluded to my favorite club as well, but it's the Duke University Union. So I'm actually in the DU office right now. You can see behind me. Sorry, the lights are like motion sensor, and so I was sitting still, so they turned it off on me. But yeah, so I think it's our largest programming body on campus, and so we have over 15 different committees. And one of my favorite things about the club is that it's really well-rounded. So some of the things we do is we run an art studio. We show free movies on the weekends for students. We have a coffee house. We plan the big last day of classes celebration on campus. We plan a lot of cool things, like our marketing is handing out summer giveaways this past week outside for students, which is really, really cool. So I really like it because of the breadth of programming we provide for the student body, and we give great experience for students to do. See, Monster has our sunglasses. It's great event planning experience for a lot of students, and it does a lot of leadership development, which I really like. And so I got involved last year, actually, and I kind of just applied to the executive board on a whim because it said no experience in the organization before was necessary, and I got it, and I loved it. So the good thing about DUU is that students are welcome to join year-round. I think for a lot of the clubs that you kind of have to join in the beginning of the school year, and so for DUU, it's something you can join year-round. Kind of also once you kind of get a hang of your first year, it's nice to be able to join something later on in the year. So I really like that about that. Yeah.
Great, thanks. I'm going to go ahead and answer. We have a question, and then I will go ahead and I'll talk about my experience. Question comes from Helen M. What's the most common or popular club activity to join? And then also, where should I go to find a list of the current clubs and activities? So we'll be putting a link in the chat so that you, and on the Student Affairs website. So we'll get you an idea of the different clubs and organizations. There are over 400 recognized clubs and organizations here on campus by UCAE, which is the University Center for Activities and Events. So they are the main body that's in charge of the different clubs and organizations. In terms of what's the most popular, that's a really tough question just because I'm sure there are clubs that have maybe more people at a certain point or have a lot of people on their listserv. So there's really just a lot of different things that you can do. It's all based on what you're interested in. One of the great things is during the first week of classes when you come here to Duke, we'll have a big student activities fair going on East Campus. And so every club, or majority of the clubs here on campus, are going to have a table. And so you're going to be able to talk to the presidents, the vice presidents, members of any club and organization from something like Habitat for Humanity or different political organizations that are available on campus, such as college Republicans or college Democrats. So you're really you're going to see lots of things available to you. And it's not so much a matter of what is maybe more popular, because it's really about what you want to do. And if it's more exciting for you, then that's something that you should consider joining. I mean, I can speak from my perspective as the Duke Quidditch Vice President, where we have a lot of people that sign up on our listserv, mostly because they're curious as to what the heck it actually is. And then we have a lot of members that come in for the first couple of practices and they see what goes on, and then some stay and some don't. Even though we do have a lot of people that apply right on our sign up for our listserv. So it just kind of really depends on what you're interested in. If anybody else wants to chime in on that one.
Yeah, like kind of to reiterate what Cameron's saying, when you have we have like 400 plus student groups on campus, so there's not one that like everyone joins. It's kind of you go to where your interests lie. I think there definitely are some groups on campus that are more prominent than others, but it kind of depends. Some groups are naturally built bigger and like plan bigger events or like do things like that, but other groups are just made small and like it's really, there's no prominent group on campus that I think like everyone like thinks to join or thinks to go to, because the student body on Duke is so diverse. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. There really is no typical group that anyone joins. You can kind of walk down campus or the quad and run into 10 different people, and if you ask each of them what they do, each one will have something different. But if you do want a cool opportunity, first off, for the first years especially, there's an opportunity to get involved with your dorm. It's called House Council, and it's really cool because you get to represent your dorm and do programming for them, find events, get t-shirts made and whatnot. So I think it's a really cool way to test out the waters and see if it's something that you really enjoy. It's a wonderful way to build leadership skills, and you meet a lot of cool people, you become the faces of your dorms, and you get to coordinate with and work with a lot of different administrators and people working higher up in the university. So I think that's a great opportunity if you're looking to get involved but not really sure what to start with.
Yeah, okay, I had the same question before I came, but during orientation week, there's an event called like Student Activities Fair where all clubs meet in on the East Campus quad. So like it was really overwhelming since there'll be like 400 plus clubs there. Like you say, okay, which is the most popular? You look at the other side, okay, that seems cool, and you look at the other side, so yeah, you get really confused. Like everything here is, yeah, it's okay. It just depends on your interests.
Yeah, and so you had another question about how do you find out about the clubs during orientation week when you first get to campus. So really the biggest way you're going to find out about a lot of different organizations is going to be through the Student Activities Fair. And then what's going to happen is during the Student Activities Fair, once everybody knows about the different organizations that are available on campus, there's going to be a lot of different information sessions that you'll be able to go to. You'll probably be bombarded for the first month, all throughout September, of come to this general body meeting, come to this general body meeting, come out to this practice. And so you're going to have so many opportunities to see what's available to you. I don't think there's always something here available for most students, but one of the other great things is that if there is a group that you are interested in starting or joining, and it's not available, you can start it yourself, and that's something very very important that we want. We want for you to be able to foster your own path at Duke. You shouldn't necessarily be bound by what's here. If you want to start something yourself, go for it. And that's how most of the clubs here at Duke have started. That's how we recently just had the Duke Dance Marathon that happened a couple weekends ago, and that was started but just last year. And so there's all these different, large and great organizations that come to Duke, and they're all student-run and student-led. That's something we want for you to do. Had another question about so more over to sports, and I'll have Clive and Soar kind of tackle this one, and I can give some perspective. So one of the questions was about do students go to other games on campus besides basketball? I'll say from my own personal experience, yes, I have been to football games, I've been to lacrosse games, I've been to fencing matches, fencing meets that have been here on campus, and I think they're some of the more fun events, because you're not crammed into camera like a sardine. Although it is kind of fun to be crammed into camera like a sardine, so it's kind of fun. Mansoor's going to go, so he has to take care of something really quickly. I'll ask anybody, other sporting events that you've been to on campus.
Oh, okay. For me, like in my dorm, they live like lacrosse players. So just being friends with them, you get to go to their games. It's I actually enjoy it. Of course, basketball is the most popular sport where everybody goes. But I found that all the other sports are actually equally good to go. Actually, sometimes more entertaining. Of course, that sounds absurd, but yeah.
And then I suppose I can chime in a bit on the sports as well. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, I manage the men's tennis team. But yeah, I've been to football games this year. I actually went to a really fun one where we beat UNC. And we beat them literally with 10 seconds left on the clock. So that was great. Our football team has done wonderful this year, and they're getting better and better each year. Like I said, yes, basketball may be the most popular sport and what Duke's known for. But I've also been to soccer games this year. A lot of my friends go to lacrosse matches, and I mean, I'm biased, but I personally go to a lot of the tennis matches. I'm actually going to go to one later on today because the women's team are playing, and they're literally right over here. It's fun because, you just sit down. It's usually on a Friday afternoon. And you just sit down in the sunlight, hang out with some friends, cheer on the team. The crowd gets into it, and it's fun because it's a little less stressful than a basketball game, which the basketball games you're standing the whole time and you're cheering. It's a lot of fun, but it can also be very tiring. This is cool because you can almost kind of kick back and relax and at the same time get really into the match. So there's opportunities for all kinds of matches, and we really, really encourage people to go to those games because they're your peers and they're student athletes that work just as hard as everybody else, and it's wonderful to cheer them on in what they do.
I would definitely agree. I came into Duke being really excited about the basketball team, and I ended up going to all different kinds of games like football. I've been to field hockey, all kinds of stuff. I think it depends also, if you have friends in different sports teams. I think that's brought me out to a lot more games than I would have expected. And also we have a group on campus called Duke Inferno, and it kind of promotes all of our different sports teams and encourages people to go out to the games. And then depending on how many games you go to, you get points, and then you get free prizes. So that's always great to check out as well.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Another question from Marissa about Greek life on campus. And so this sort of goes into the organizations on campus. And so the question kind of talks about, I hear Greek life at Duke is very popular. Do they run much of the social scene? Is it very exclusive? You don't participate in Greek. Will you still have an amazing time if you want to know more about Greek versus non-Greek life? So I'll start off with that one. I'm actually a member of a selected living group on campus called Roundtable, and what I can give you some numbers and some percentages about 18% of men are involved in a fraternity on campus, and about 35% of women are in a sorority on campus. So Greek life here at Duke is definitely present, and if it's something that you're interested in, you have that opportunity, and you're definitely encouraged to recruit or rush for those if you're interested. In addition, we also have selected living groups on campus, and about 10 to 15% of students are in a selected living group on campus. Is it dominant to the social scene? Is it exclusive? No. And that's really one of the parts that I love about Duke University, is that everything's a very open affair. There's not something that is, in my opinion at least, and I'll have others talk about their experiences with the Greek or the SLG system. I've never found it to be something that it's totally exclusive when it comes to different events on campus, the different night events on campus. It's not something that is, blocked off for certain people. And then during the different rush and recruitment processes, it's again something that is very open to every student that's interested. And of course, I'm going to speak. For that, I have to speak from personal experience with that, and I'll have others speak about their personal experiences. Really, it's hard to define one experience here at Duke, and so it's something that it's definitely an interest to you. Then you should definitely pursue it. But if it's not, that is absolutely fine. You will not feel left out. You will still have an amazing time here at Duke.
Okay, as for me, I'm not involved in any SLG or fraternity, or just because during Rush event, I just didn't want just to have that commitment. But right now, my life is pretty comfortable. My social life is okay. For parties, I go to parties, or even to the fraternity parties, and you can still be independent and get to enjoy all the benefits. Of course, not all of the benefits of people who will be in SLGs or fraternities, but it's not like you're living a bad life. Your social life is pretty comfortable. You can do anything, and that's what I kind of like being independent. Because I'm the type of person who don't want to be this is an event. I know in a fraternity, there's a compulsory thing to do. I just don't want to be pressured into this. Not pressure, but I don't want that commitment because it's me. But I'm speaking from my own personal experience. So you can still be independent and enjoy, and the social life, social scene is it's for everybody. It just depends on the type of person you are.
Yeah, and I suppose, I just have to echo the same sentiments. I personally have an SLG on campus called Ubuntu, and some of the SLGs are great because they have different themes with them. So mine is supposed to be committed to civic engagement. We have other ones that are committed to language and the arts and music and whatnot. But yeah, I found that, it's very free-form and very organic. I have friends in fraternities, I have friends in sororities, and I have friends in other SLGs, and I have friends that are independent, and we all treat each other completely the same. I've been invited to parties and events with them, to semi-formals and different events of theirs, and then I also invite them to my events. Just last night, we had our own semi-formal that the SLGs all throw together, so we rent out a venue and have a DJ, and just a night of dancing and fun, and you get to hang out with all your friends. And I can't tell you how many people I ran into that were there with their friends that were not involved with SLGs and were either in fraternities and sororities or completely independent, and I got to hang out with them all in the same. There was no difference between them being an SLG or not. And then at the same time, I go to events with my friends in sororities and my friends in fraternities. So it's really what you want. I suggest, if you're interested at all, to rush, as Cameron said, and just see what the process is like. If you feel it's not for you, but great, you give yourself a shot at it. If you feel it is for you, then wonderful, you find a great group to be a part of on campus. It's really what you want to make it, and it's a very organic relationship that you have with your peers, and I think you'll find that when you get on campus, you'll have a lot of cool opportunities, and you won't be restricted by much. It's really great.
Yeah, so kind of going off what they're saying, I'm in an SLG, it's the Black Cultural Living Group, and so we were founded last year on campus, and we just kind of work with a lot of other cultural groups on campus to promote cultural awareness, and so that's our main thing. I enjoy living Sorry, I'm trying to be careful. Wait, I have to move. Okay. Sorry. But I think freshman year, a lot of my friends chose to rush sororities. And so I think at that point, it did seem a little, like I felt like a little bit left out, but then I realized like how much of the campus isn't in sororities or fraternities or also isn't in SLGs. So I think there are points where it might seem like it's exclusive, but like the larger campus as a whole is a very inclusive campus, and it's just kind of looking out for new opportunities. Like I know a lot of schools don't have things like SLGs like Duke has to offer, so I think that's a really good thing to look into. And I just would say kind of try everything and see where you fit, because like don't do something because everyone else seems like they're doing it freshman year. I would encourage you to try everything and kind of see what your personality and what you want to get out of your Duke experience works for you.
Great, awesome. Go ahead and field another question from Kay, from KP. How do club and intramural sports work? Is there a difference between the two? And then also, is there a gym on campus available to all students? So I will have the athletic people answer that, because I am not.
Oh, okay. I'm going to answer that one first. Oh, difference between club and intramural sports. Oh, club sports are okay. Club sports, like, okay. Let me talk about club basketball first, like which I'm more familiar with. With club basketball, you get to join and like you have to pay like dues, and you go to practice. It's more competitive. And it's more time commitment. Intramural sports is like for all levels. There are different different types, like beginner or intermediate, or it can be differentiated by like freshman, whatever, undergraduate, graduate, or something like that. So it just depends on your ability level. But for club, is more intense, and usually to be on the team you need to be really good. But for intramural, like no matter your ability, you can still make it into the team. And for gyms, there's a gym on East Campus right now. I'm in Brody Gym. It's on East Campus, and East Campus, that's where all freshmen live. So you just start using your student ID, and it's free. Like on West Campus, there's Wilson Gym, which is the bigger gym, and for students, it's all free. You just use your student ID. And usually, like, okay, like for intramural sports, yeah, all activities are usually held on campus. But for club sports, depending on your club, you get to travel. Like I know that right now the women's softball, women's lacrosse, it just won like state championships, and they get to travel a lot. This club. So like for other clubs, like Duke doesn't have like a women's varsity lacrosse team, but the club like sort of the varsity sport, and like yeah, the different clubs do that. So it depends on what you like. If you don't want like a lot of time commitment, then definitely intramural sports will be for you. But if you want like to be really serious with it, yeah, even in intramural you can be serious. But with clubs, like you really want to compete and you want to travel, and you really need to work hard to get in the team. Like even if you pay your dues, if you're in the team, you don't really get to travel if you're not good enough. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can kind of pick up there. In terms of Cloudburst intramural sports, yeah, as Clive said, there are a bunch of different club sports and intramural sports. Some teams only have a club, but a lot of different sports have club and intramural. So the great thing about intramural is that, like you said, it's way less of a time commitment. Anyone can pretty much play. I know I played on an intramural soccer team, and I've never played soccer in my life. So it's really fun. I just get to run around and look like I know what I'm doing, but then the ball comes to me and I just kind of kick it away. So that's a lot of fun, and it's great because I get to do it with my friends. We just do it. I use it as exercise. I love just playing defense, and we'll play around. And we also had like dorm basketball teams. You can have like SLG basketball teams. There's competitive leagues. There's leagues that are less competitive. There's a co-ed league, there's an all-girls league, an all-guys league, and whatnot. And then club is also great because if you find that you really want to continue with your sport, you can try out for the club team, and they're usually pretty good players, but at the same time, there's a wide spectrum of players, so you don't have to be like a world beater to be on the club team. It's just going to take some time commitment, and you're going to probably have to go to practices. I want to say that they have like 2 to 3 practices a week, usually like an hour and a half. I know the club tennis team usually does like Monday, Wednesday, Fridays from like 4:30 to 6. And then like I don't know much about club basketball, but one of my close friends on club lacrosse, he does Tuesdays and Thursdays, I think like 6 to 7:30. And another close friend, she's on the club water polo team. So they do, I want to say twice a week as well. I think 2 hours because, you know, with the pool and getting in and out, it's a little bit more of a time commitment there. But the great thing is she's actually not here this weekend because she is up in Pennsylvania for a water polo tournament. And she's gone a lot of weekends because she goes on water polo tournaments. And she loves it. It's a wonderful group of people. They have a lot of fun on their own. They have social events with other club sports as well. And it's given her a new way to meet tons of new people. So I think club sports are an awesome opportunity to stay involved. And you'll find that you'll have a great spectrum of players. As for the gym, as Clive said, he's in Brody right now, and Brody's wonderful. I am actually within viewing distance of Wilson Gym. I am very partial to Wilson Gym just because it's an awesome place, but Brody served my needs wonderfully during my freshman year. It's just that Wilson's a little bit more convenient for me at this point, and it's a great place. You have access to both. As a student, you can go wherever you need to go, whatever's most convenient for you. So if you have class on West the whole day, you can go to Wilson Gym. I really love the place. We got our indoor rock climbing wall, which I recently just got certified for. You can get certified for about $30 for the whole year, and then it's unlimited rock climbing throughout the rest of the year. There's an awesome smoothie bar. They have a pool. They have like multiple basketball courts, an indoor running track, an awesome weight room with bumper plates if you want to do Olympic lifts. So you can drop the plates if it's a little too heavy. They have so many machines, a bunch of different squat racks, and there's also racquetball courts. There's just so many things. I could live in Wilson Gym. It's such a great place.
Yeah, going off of that a little bit. So talking more about the fitness classes. So Wilson and Brody both have fitness classes, and they have like free ones that go. They're all of it's free, but they have ones like once a week, and they'll be like. There's like a whole schedule going on, so there'll be like yoga classes, there'll be like cycling classes. Oh, look at Clive. That's a yoga class going on. They have cycling.
Clive's camera.
Right? Look at Clive's camera. They have all kinds of stuff. They have like cardio dance, hip hop classes, and a lot of them are top A students, so that's really cool. And then I also took a gym class last semester, and so we have a good range of gym classes available. So my friends are taking like fencing. There's like kickboxing classes, there's like beginning swimming, like all kinds of stuff. And so you can take those as a class, and I took that. So that was really cool. I took yoga last semester, and it was really, really fun. So it was a nice like break from the regular class schedule. I really enjoyed that.
And like, on top of it, yeah, like I'm in yoga right now. It's free to me. It's another class. It counts as a half credit. And then the other day I went to my friend's hip hop class. It's you just drop in. It was like 6:30 in the evening. I went with a bunch of friends, had a blast. I'm not a dancer by any means. It's something I wanted to get involved in college, and this was the perfect opportunity because I didn't have to be committed to a dance group, but at the same time I could just kind of pop in, learn how to dance, and walk out thinking I had some sweet moves. So there's so many opportunities. I can't say enough.
Yeah, right now I'm also taking a taekwondo class, and it's really fun just to kick and yeah, all that. You can also go to Zumba on Mondays and Wednesdays, like do some Zumba shaking. Yeah.
And those courses, the physical education courses that are offered as part of your normal schedule, those count as a half credit, and they're they're pass fail. So you don't have to be good at it. I'm taking a fencing class next semester. I have zero idea how to fence. I watch it when the Olympics are on, but it should just be a lot of fun, just to kind of try my hand at it. So that'd be a blast. Had a question from Lauren Harper about time commitment for club sports and other organizations. So we'll go. I guess we'll kind of go down the line, have everyone talk about like their big activities and how long it takes them. So with the different activities that I'm involved with on campus, I mean, I have practices that meet for Quidditch. It's once a week for about an hour. I might have some different meetings that I have to be there for an hour. So it kind of depends. And one of the things with a lot of the organizations on campus is that you can be as involved as you want to be. So if you know that you've got a heavy schedule that semester, maybe you just want to go to the activities, go to some of the meetings, things like that. As you decide to go more into different leadership positions, such as treasurers, vice presidents, presidents of different organizations, you'll have to dedicate some more time to it because there might be planning that you have to do. I know for us, I have to talk with the different Quidditch teams in the state and nearby to plan matches and stuff. So it can take time just to kind of plan out and schedule out when I have to meet with people and get that figured out. But it really kind of is a what you make of it sort of thing. You can be as involved or as not involved as you really want to be, and that'll determine how long you work. And the other thing is, here at Duke, we understand that students are very busy, and if there is like an organization you're dedicated to, but you just have a bad week, you have 2 exams that week, and you just can't do it, people understand that that there's things going on. That's kind of what I can say to that, at least from my perspective. I guess Clive, if you can.
Okay, about time commitment, right? Okay, for I know people in like student government. So right now, people are running for elections. Like, okay, it's they have their meetings like twice, or I don't know, twice a week or something. But it's only like you meet for an hour. So yeah, it's not that much of time commitment, but you need to really put like your time in it. But it's not that much. Also, like it depends on the time. Like there's a period when, like for different clubs, you'll be busy during a specific season because maybe that's when you have all your activities. Or I know for or is it like Duke Africa right now? Like they just had a fashion show, so like they were busy like during this like past 2 weeks. But during the other times, they are not busy. I don't know what to talk about, really. Can anybody talk about like the time commitment in your activities, like Nikki on DUU?
Yeah. So I definitely think my time commitment has escalated as much more as I got involved. I joined the executive board this past year, and that's been a big time commitment for me. I think it's really a lot of clubs on campus, it's really about how much you want to get involved. So like now if we're an event planning organization, so we have to have meetings like planning the events with the committee, then we'll have to meet with administrators like later in the week to like get things approved and then move forward. But I think for most of the things, especially like early on in your Duke career, it's really like you go to like committee meetings, and then they'll just say who wants to sign up for this, and you sign up based on your availability, and then the more and more you participate, the more and more opportunities will come for you to get further involved with the organization. So I say the thing I did freshman year was kind of I went to a lot of different meetings and saw like kind of what groups I liked, what groups I fit in with well, and just continued showing my interest with them, and that's how I got more and more involved. But you'll definitely have time for classes and times to hang out and that kind of stuff. Like you don't think you'll join a club and then be completely stressed out and won't be able to do anything. Yeah, so I have plenty of time to like hang out with friends, chill, do classes, and do student organizations on campus. So yeah.
So do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I would agree completely. I mean, every time commitment differs, but I find most of them usually have 1 meeting a week. And like, for example, every week I have a meeting for Duke because I'm on the executive team. So we meet 1 hour on Wednesdays, and then like bi-weekly we'll have like a big meeting with everyone in the group. So that's usually another hour on the Sunday. It honestly really depends on the club and how involved you are. If you're just a member that pops in here and there, then that's something that you have a little bit more autonomy over. If you're on the executive board for a club, then you're probably going to be showing up to all the meetings. So it really depends. And then on top of that, most clubs are pretty understanding if you say, I cannot make this meeting, I have a doctor's appointment, or I can't make this meeting, I have another commitment at this time. As long as it's not a usual thing, most clubs are very understanding of that, and they're very accommodating. I don't think it's a problem at all.
Oh, okay. Like I want to add on to that. Like some of these, like club meetings, they're actually a fun way to take a break away from your classes. Because I know I'm involved with like Duke Alexander, so like our meetings are really fun, and like it takes all the stress away. So it'll be a good way to take a break from classes. Like right now I'm taking engineering classes, and yeah, it'll be really hard. So okay, I'm going to do something really productive, but at the same time, relaxing.
Yeah, I can also. So another thing with that, so like I'm also involved with two different theater groups on campus, Antic Shakespeare and the Duke Players, and so we'll have rehearsals after classes that might go for a couple hours. That's something that can take a lot of time, but I've been working with directors that are very forgiving of my schedule. And so that kind of actually leads us to another question, sort of tacks on to this, is about how much free time do you have after classes? How many hours a day do you do classwork and things like that? So how can you fit into other commitments? One of the what I would say, at least from my experience as an engineer, the first 2 years I had a lot of classes, most because I had a lot of lab courses. So if you are taking a lot of lab courses in, say, biology, chemistry, or engineering, that will definitely impact some of the free time you have, just because those labs can run 2-3 hours easily. And so there's things that, that's something to consider. But most of the meetings that go on for different organizations are at night. They're usually at, say, 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the evening, and so you'll typically not be in a class. Typically, is the key word there. So you kind of have, it kind of gets worked out that way, and you'll be working with people in any of the organizations that are going to be very similar to that, where you're going to have lots of different people doing lots of different classes, and you all are going to, you'll be getting lots of doodle polls when you start joining clubs to all find any one time slot that actually works when you actually can meet. How many classes do you take a semester? So standard course load here at Duke is 4 classes. It might include a lab based on what you're studying. We do consider 5 classes overloading, but again, it kind of depends on how much of a time commitment it is. If you're overloading with a lab course, then it's a lot more time that you have to add to it. Hours-wise, let's see, I probably spend about, I'm in 4 classes. Each class is maybe, it's 75 minutes, 150, so about 2.5 hours. 2.5 times 4 is 10 hours. So, wait, is it? I don't do math. I'm a math major.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So I guess I spend average, 10, 12 hours a week in class. So it's definitely not like high school where you're in class from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock and you're only doing that. You'll have lots of, well, hopefully you'll have, different breaks in between your classes to do some work, go to the library for a little bit before you have to go to class, something like that. So you can really fit in a lot of different commitments based on how your scheduling works out. It's hard sometimes for the first couple of years when you have these lab courses and things like that you have to kind of account for, but it usually gets more flexible as time goes on.
And also it depends on your schedule. Like as for me, like the other days I'm really sort of free. Like I have fewer classes, like only have 1 class or 2 classes, and then there are days where I have 4 classes. So it just depends on the courses you're taking. Right now I have to be in class most of the time, like even like out of class time, because we'll be working on like an engineering project. So I have to be in lab like from 8 p.m. to midnight. Like that's additional time, like almost every day, which kind of sucks, but.
Mentor?
Yeah, I actually decided to pull up my schedule so I could share it with some of you guys. Now, I'm just going to preface this with this statement. This is not my best schedule by any means. It's a little packed, and it has the most dreaded thing you could think of, which are 8:30s, but they were mandatory for me. I really had to take them. I'll talk about that more as I pull up the schedule, so just give me 1 second.
Dang it!
You just have to wave your arms around a little bit there, Nikki, so that...
I tried to move my arms and then like it still didn't turn on.
So here's my schedule. I'll see if I can expand it a little bit for you guys. So Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays I start. Yeah, it's a little full, I know. So there's 2 things that are... I think there's 3 things that are hurting my schedule this semester. See, I have these 8:45s, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. These are just tough to get out of bed for because as much as you think that it'll be like high school where you can get out of bed at 7:30 every morning, it really isn't. So just going to preface it with that. I had to take these. I'm a pre-med. This is a mandatory biology course, and it is a lot of fun. I really enjoy this course, so it's not like a hard course to get up for. But I would recommend not taking 8:30s unless you're a morning person. I just found that I am not. Then I have this course, which is only twice a week. I really enjoy it, so I don't mind doing this back to back. Mondays I have a nice little like 2-hour break, and then I have a class again at 1:25, and then I'm done at 2:40. So I have the rest of the evening to myself. Tuesdays are wonderful. I don't get out of bed until about 10:30, and I go to class at 11:45, and then I'm done by 4:20. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are really nice. It's the same schedule. Wednesday is like the only day I would consider to be actually a little tiring, just because I'm in class back to back to back to back. So I'm in class pretty much from 8:45 to 2:40. So that's something that's a little more similar to what you guys would experience in high school, but it's still shorter than my high school schedule was, and I have nice little breaks in between. And then Friday is really wonderful because I get done at 12:30. So I get up at 8:45, then I have a 2-hour lab, then I'm done at 12:30. But the things that are really ruining my schedule this semester are the fact that foreign language classes usually take 4 days. So I have Persian, I'm taking Persian level 2 this semester, and it takes up 4 days. Thankfully, next semester it's only 3 days. And then this is yoga, so it's not actually a class. It's just actually a really fun way to de-stress after the day. So theoretically, I only really have 2 classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and yoga is just my way to kind of decompress after class. But yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know how many hours this is. It's way less than high school. I have found that, I'm going to stop screen sharing now. I found that, depending on what your schedule is, you can have a lot of free time. My first semester at Duke, I had every Tuesday off. So I had Tuesday off and every other Thursday off because labs, my first semester, were bi-weekly. So I had 2 days off, like just completely, all of my first semester. Next semester, if I play my cards right, I've made my schedule already, and if things pan out, I'll have every Friday off. So no classes on Fridays. And I will never have to get up. Actually, sorry, that's a lie. I do have 2 8:30s, but they're a very interesting class, and I chose to take it. So you don't have to take it. I just really wanted to. And then the other days, I don't have to get out of bed until 11:45. And on Wednesdays, I only have 1 class. So it really depends on what your schedule is. I'll be honest, my first 2 semesters, actually my first 2 years here, I've had a lab every semester. So that was a 3-hour commitment that you don't really get an extra credit for. It's just part of the biology or the chemistry credit. But at the same time, I have a lot more free time than I did before. I don't get out of bed nearly as early as I used to. I get out of class way earlier than I did in high school. I get out of class sometimes at noon. Some days I get out of class by 9:30 in the morning. Like yesterday, I had my lab canceled, so I got out of class at 9:30 in the morning, and the rest of my Friday was all to myself. So I would just say a lot more free time. In terms of how much homework I do for my classes, that's also very dependent on the class. Some classes which are known to be homework intensive, like organic chemistry, I'll be spending quite a few hours on it. We usually spend a couple hours every other night, and then on weekends I spend like 4 hours or so doing problems. But other classes, I've had classes where all I really did is went to class. And came back and I just went to class and took notes and came home, went to class and took notes and came home. It was kind of just a much more relaxed course. So I would say, it really depends on the class itself. And what I've also found in terms of the coursework is that a lot of classes don't collect your homework. So organic chemistry, my homework was never collected. It was all on me, and it was just a matter of how much time I could put towards it and how much time I set aside for my free time. So that semester, yeah, I had a little bit more work, but I also structured my schedule so that my other classes weren't too difficult, so that I could just really focus on my organic chemistry because I'm a pre-med and it was important to me, and it's a really great way to get into my college experience. And then this semester, I find I'm spending way less time for each individual class, but sometimes it comes in waves where 1 week I'll have a paper, so I'll just have to put a little bit extra work in, but other times it's just some minor readings and I'm good to go. So it's very class dependent. It's something, I think the biggest thing that I want to say is that you will figure all that out as you get here. You don't have to have it known before you get here. It's something that you learn, and most people learn it well, and you find that you will be functioning very well after a little bit at Duke.
Yeah, so kind of going off that, your schedule really depends on your major, because I am not a math science type of person, and so I don't really have labs. Like you have to take like some math and science for like the basic training requirement, but like I do not have class half as much as probably the rest of the guys here. So a lot of my courses, I guess the I'm not in class that much. Like I'll have class twice a week for like an hour and 15 minutes. But then a lot of my work I'll have to do is a lot of reading. So that's most of my time commitment outside of class. I would say is more than actual class time during the week. So that's an important thing to note. And also, I'm a Spanish minor, so like the farther along you get in a language, the less class time you have it during a week. So like where Monster is probably just like learning Persian, he takes it like 4 times a week. I'm further along in Spanish, so I only have to take it twice a week. So it really depends on how far you are along and what kind of major you are with classes. But I would say I definitely do more work for my classes outside of class with the readings and work and that kind of stuff. So I think that's my major commitment. And it really depends on what kind of courses you want to take. Yeah. And so I actually have to head out, but it was great talking to all you guys. I enjoyed myself. Feel free to let me know if you have any more questions. Find me on Facebook and message me. But yes.
Bye, Nikki.
Bye.
Bye, Nikki. Thank you.
Thank
No
you
problem.
so much.
Come to Duke.
We had another question from Mike about how far do club sports teams usually travel. So we'll kind of talk about that. I can talk from my experience. Quidditch isn't a club sport on campus, so we do travel a lot. So I've traveled to New York. We traveled to New York City last year for the World Cup. I'm actually traveling to the World Cup next week in Orlando. So if any of you are in Orlando or in Florida and you want to go to the World Cup in Orlando next weekend, just a plug. But we've also traveled to Virginia. I've traveled to South Carolina. So that's how we travel. It can be, I think, much more traveling for different club sports, and I'll hopefully have others can chime in on that one.
Oh, I know for Cloudburst, but okay, I haven't really traveled, but like for other years, they told me like they went to like as far as California, so like you can travel depending on your club.
And then I personally don't play a club sport, but like I said earlier, I have a lot of friends that do. My friend who's on the water polo team, she's gone up to Pennsylvania a lot. She's gone up to New York City, Minnesota. They have nationals in Minnesota this year, I think. And I think this weekend they're at UNC, so they're actually close by this weekend. And they'll go anywhere from Raleigh and Chapel Hill to Palo Alto, California. My roommate is actually a triathlete, and he goes to places nearby a lot. He goes to like Virginia and West Virginia, but for nationals, he's going to Arizona. And the really cool thing about some of the club sports is that actually I think most of the club sports do this. Every few years they have a dream trip. So over spring break, they will go on their dream trip, which can mean San Jose, California. It can mean London, England. It's pretty much something that comes out of dues. They'll often fundraise for it. And then I know if it's club soccer, they may try and go to Europe and go to a soccer game. Or if it's something like club tennis, they'll probably try and go to Miami and go to the Miami Sony Ericsson Open in Miami. So they do a lot of fun trips as well as competitive trips.
Yep. Awesome. So looks like we are starting to run out of time here. We're going to give you a few different things of different resources to check out so that you can find out more information about the different clubs and organizations about campus. So one of the things that I'll plug really quickly is hopefully many of you are going to be coming up here for Blue Devil Days. And I encourage you, if you are heavily considering Duke, to consider coming for Blue Devil Days. For me, when I visited, it really sort of brought to light a lot of the cool things that I can do on campus, and it really kind of gave me a great idea of what I can do. So just to kind of those dates for the Blue Devil Days, we have the Blue Devil Days on the 8th and 9th, also the 18th and 19th, and then the 21st and 22nd of this month. So I do encourage you to consider looking at that, and if you have any information on that, you can find it on the Duke Admissions website about the different days that you can come. So that's a great way. Also, we do encourage you to look at the Duke Group's website. That's going to have a list of a lot of the different clubs and organizations, and majority of the contact information on the website, if you search the club by name or just kind of goes through the list, you'll have contact information for the different people. So you can kind of send an email to maybe the president or something like that and ask them for more information about what's available for you on campus.
Okay, as for me, I'm socially active. You can find me on Facebook or Twitter at Mudanda Clive. Also, you have to check out our blogs on the Duke Admissions website. So it's blogs.admissions.duke.edu. And also check us on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram at Duke Students. Just say at Duke Students, yeah.
You guys can reach me on my Facebook. I'm fairly active on the group. I'm one of the administrators in the group. I'm always happy to answer questions. Shoot me a message if it's in private, or if you just want to post it to the group, I'm happy to help. Or I can connect you to a resource that knows more than I do on this subject. And I highly, highly, highly encourage you to come to Blue Devil Days if you can. I wasn't quite sure exactly where I was going before I came to Blue Devil Days, and then I'm pretty sure the moment I stepped on campus, like the moment I literally took 2 steps on campus, I knew it was for me. I saw the chapel, I was driving up to it, and I told my dad, this is where I'm going to school. And after we left campus, he said, do you want to go visit your other schools? I'm like, nope. He's like, are you sure? I said, nope, I'm positive. And it was an amazing opportunity for me to meet new people. I'm still friends with a lot of people I met during Blue Devil Days, so that's also a really funny dynamic there. Funnily enough, one of my commitments earlier that I mentioned, the fact board, I met one of my really good friends in that group when I was a prospective freshman, and we're still friends to this day. She's now a senior. She was a sophomore when I met her, and now I'm a sophomore. So it's just crazy how that happens. And check us out on Facebook. Go to the admissions website and check out the blogs. Follow us on Twitter. Reach out to any of us. We are happy to answer all of your questions or connect you with someone that knows more about it. And like I said, come here, enjoy this beautiful campus, and we really hope you come to Duke in the fall.
And same for me. You can look on the Google Plus page. You'll see all of our different profiles. Feel free to add us, send us messages. I'm also on the Facebook group. I am one of the admins as well for that. So please, get in contact. We're more than willing to answer any of your questions and discuss with you any of the commitments that we have, or just any questions, comments, or concerns that you might have before you make your decision. With that, I want to thank Clive, Mansoor, and Nikki for their lovely input, and I hope that it was very helpful to you. I also want to thank Kara Rousseau, who is helping us with planning this discussion and helping us to moderate a lot of the questions. With that, I just want to say thank you all for watching, and again, feel free to contact us, and have a good rest of your day. Go Duke!
Bye, guys.